Welcome back to our office.
Thank you.
Last how many years you was in Canada?
I have been in Canada for the last 5 years.
Okay, I would love to understand your experience in Canada because that will motivate my clients. They will get a very good insight about life in Canada. Now you are working into IT sector.
Correct.
Now tell me, how is the IT sector in Canada?
IT sector is extremely booming. There are a lot of opportunities, lots of jobs, especially in the security sector. Security sector, day by day and every second, you're getting all the new jobs, that is risk management related to all networking. All people who have good experience, who are sincere, hard work and dedicated. Once they get in Canada, once they get a job, they will never feel like leaving. It is such a wonderful place, especially also for families. It's excellent.
Now you are migrated to Canada for the three important reasons. One is to earn good money, second to have a work-life balance, and third thing is having an adventure kind of meeting new people, interacting with new people. So what is your experience into this field?
Basically, I am for the first thing you're saying is let's say talking about health. Health-wise, Canada has free medical. Nowhere in the world you get free medical, which is including cancer, including all the things. It is unbelievable. Absolutely free.
Right.
And that is one thing.
Right.
Second thing is Canada encourages and promotes family relations.
Very good.
If you have, let's say you have your wife, they encourage you to have kids so that they can get free. You can whatever savings for the child's education is all tax free. They have such wonderful provisions.
Even for a working woman, if
yes.
she's working and there is a child,
yes.
she gets a lot of benefits.
She gets leave, maternity leave, and the husband also gets leave. It is unbelievable.
That is again a really good thing.
It is so fantastic.
And what about, unfortunately, if you lose your job?
If you lose your job, if you have till, let's say I have worked 2 or 3 years as a full-time employee in a company and I lose my job, my tax which has gone to the government starts giving me enough money so that I can support myself. It is about $500 to $1,000. They will give it to me and I can support till I get my next job. This is so everywhere where you think from a family perspective, their first priority, the government's priority is family. So it is so encouraging for a family to settle down, buy the place there. That is one thing. I have been staying in Toronto for so many years. Toronto is a second India.
Okay.
You get everything, even if you might not get things in Pune, I'll be able to get that in Toronto.
Okay.
Because of all the different cultures from everywhere they are coming, it is such a wonderful place.
Now see, Toronto, there are having people from more than 100 countries.
Correct.
In your workplace also you must have noticed there are people from Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Philippines. Now how you are interacting with them? Are you finding it difficult to interact?
No, it is, I will say it is probably the best experience I've been having to understand such different cultures, to share your culture with them and to let people be aware of what you have here, what they have there, and to bring everything in front of the table, and then they feel people might have had wrong ideas, might have some misconceptions, but when you tell them things that you really know that no, these things are the way these are, it's such wonderful sharing. And maybe you have some misconception about, let's say, China, and then they share their things. So many cultures which come together. So it's wonderful.
Right, means we are having some kind of a notion that Chinese are like this, Pakistanis
Yes.
are like that.
Yes.
But all these myths and all
Yes.
these misconceptions.
Yes.
gets
For
shattered.
example, I will give you an example.
Mm.
That I am a musician.
Mm.
I am also a santoor player.
Right.
In Toronto,
Mm.
there are hundreds and hundreds of people who have come from Pakistan.
Mm.
Each and every Pakistani person, when he stays in his basement, he has a music room.
Oh.
And every weekend, they get all the people together and have a ghazal night.
Oh.
And
Right.
such beautiful music and ghazals and all, and they say, oh, we want to live that tradition,
Right.
which people are losing maybe in Pakistan.
Mhm.
They want to continue there in Toronto.
Right.
So it is such a wonderful thing to.
And what about our Indian people, our Maharashtrian people? What kind of
In Toronto, there are so many Maharashtrians, so many people from here, from Pune, from Nagpur, from Bombay, who come. We have our own Maharashtra Mandal. We celebrate Diwali, Ganeshi,
right.
and we have pujaris also.
Okay. Yeah.
And in Toronto,
Temples also.
every let's say every kilometer, there is one temple.
Okay.
So many temples, and Toronto is basically a very cultural.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you some important question. Now, see, when in India, you have stayed in India for most of your life also.
Correct.
Indians, we are having typical mentality, you know.
Correct.
Now, all these bad habits,
Correct.
when our Indians are migrating
Correct.
in a country like Canada,
Correct.
staying in a beautiful place like Toronto,
Correct.
are they carrying all these things with them, or they behave as per their rules and regulations?
When they come there, maybe I will say, let's say they take maybe a little bit of time to understand their culture and this one, but once they do, they are completely changed. They respect all this one, and also you have to slowly start adjusting also to their. For example, from the first, when you have to pay the rent on the first, you have to pay it on the first. There is no option.
Right.
So these things slowly, even the culture also makes them change little bit, and they also adapt.
Culture is one thing, and another important thing is the rules and regulations.
Regulations, correct.
Now, see, I am also a Canadian PR holder. I
Correct.
have given my driving test. Unfortunately, I failed.
Correct.
I have not touched
Correct.
the vehicle. But
Correct.
in India,
Correct.
what happens?
Correct.
Nobody is bothered.
Correct.
And the driving test was such a beautifully